Here are some Fafsa filing tips to make your college applications and getting financial aid process just that much easier. First tip is to make sure you're using the actual legit Fafsa website. So there are a lot of scams out there, and because obviously with the Fafsa, you're giving away a lot of your own personal financial information and things like address, date of birth, social security numbers, assets, all these different things. So make sure you're using the official website. If you're not, the link to the official website will be down below. So if you're confused or scared, use that link, but make sure you're using the official website. Tip number 2, always apply for financial aid. Even if you think you make too much money, go ahead and apply. It doesn't hurt. And a lot of times there will be scholarships that are available that you might just not realize that are available to you, even if you make too much money. But things like merit-based scholarships, which are scholarships based on the merit of the student, not your financial need. So like athletic scholarships, cello scholarships, or things like that. So you will not be eligible for those unless you apply for Fafsa. Especially if they're institution level scholarships or financial aid, you got to make sure you put in your Fafsa. Otherwise, college is not going to give you money. Tip number 3, be careful how much money is in your child's name. So when it comes to assets on the Fafsa, parents and child's assets are not created equal. So parents' assets are, this is in cash, investments, stocks, brokerage accounts, anything like that, any taxable investments. They are looked at as whatever assets the parent has. The college is going to say, all right, we think that you can pay or use 5.6% of those assets, whereas any kid assets are going to be viewed as, we think you can contribute 20% of any of the assets. So when you're looking at the total assets that the family can provide, it's going to look much higher if you have the same amount of assets in a child's name versus the parent's name. And that could cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how much money you have in your kid's name towards the cost of college, because they're going to see that number and they're going to say, oh, little Jimmy doesn't need any help because he's dedicating 20% of his custodial account. Get your FAFSA in early too. So the FAFSA opens October 1st. Anytime after that, you want to make sure you get your FAFSA in as soon as possible. So there's really no reason to wait. You can always add schools to the FAFSA later on if you're not sure what schools you're going to be applying to, but make sure you get your FAFSA in early, especially because some of the schools may run out of scholarship money. They're going to give it to the kind of most eager students more often than not, so that people that apply and ask for money first. If you're applying early, it shows an eagerness to the school, and why wouldn't they not want to reward that? So oftentimes they do give out and spill more money up front, so you want to make sure that you get that FAFSA in early, in addition to getting your applications in early. Next is pay down some debts. So for the same reason that you don't want to necessarily have money in your kids' accounts versus your parents, well, having money in either counts against you from an asset perspective. So what you can do is you can basically pay down some debts. So if you have some debts, this would be a good time to pay down those debts, because that money could come back to you in terms of financial aid. So things like mortgages, so home on the FAFSA is not necessarily counted against you for FAFSA financial aid purposes. It can be on the CSS profile, so make sure you understand which schools you're applying for, because it's not going to necessarily help you on the CSS profile. Any FAFSA-based school, though, it will help you. So other debts like credit cards, things like that, now would be a good time to pay those off, just because that money, again, in your accounts is going to pay, count against you. But before you go just burning all your cash, make sure that you have enough cash to afford the college and afford the bills that are going to be coming your way, so you don't end up in more debt on the outside. So again, proceed from the debt perspective with caution, but this could be a easy trick to lower your expected family contribution, which is the result of the FAFSA. Hopefully you enjoyed these tips. Make sure you get your FAFSA in early and on time. And if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to us. Cheers.